Coming up on Lexington Now, sheltering homeless veterans, Operation Transformation, and the Lexington Arts and Science Center. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. Roberts, and welcome to another edition of Lexington Now, where we take a look at the news that shapes your urban county government. Lexington is joining a nationwide effort to end homelessness among military veterans. Mayor Jim Gray held a press conference recently to discuss this new initiative.
We are here today to announce how Lexington is joining a national effort to fight homelessness among veterans. And I'm pleased to be joined by Austin Sims, who's Executive Director of the Lexington Fayette Urban County Housing Authority. And you'll hear from Austin in just a minute. And also Emma Metcalf, who is Director of the Lexington VA Medical Center, and Roger Leonard from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Louisville Field Office. Also, Charlie Lanter, who is Director of the city's new Office of Homelessness Prevention and Intervention. It's also good to see members of the Mayor's Commission on Homelessness. Up here with me is Sheriff Kathy Witt and Janice James from the Hope Center. And it's good to see members and representatives from our partner agencies that provide important services to veterans and to other citizens who are homeless. Today we are announcing that Lexington has officially committed to the Mayor's Challenge to end veteran homelessness. The Mayor's Challenge is a new nationwide drive recently unveiled at the White House. Lexington is joining cities and organizations across the country working to end chronic homelessness. Everyone deserves a safe, clean place they can call home, especially the men and women who have served our country. Accepting this challenge is the right thing to do. And Lexington's strong network of partners who serve veterans and other citizens who are homeless will be an important part of this commitment. So what is Lexington doing to meet the Mayor's Challenge? It starts with a solid foundation of service providers. Everyone here represents an organization dedicated to serving veterans and people who are experiencing homelessness. This work happens every day. Every single day across Lexington. But we are also excited to announce an expansion of rental assistance available to local homeless veterans. So now I want to ask Austin Sims to share details of this new program and this voucher system.
In our community, in our society, we have a phrase that's often overused, but it's let me give a shout out. And so today, the Housing Authority gives a shout out to Mayor Gray with his affordable housing initiatives and what he's just announced and signed on with HUD to do. A shout out to local housing advocates, a shout out to constituents that we serve, a shout out to HUD for the opportunity to increase our vast program of serving veterans with an additional 51 units. A shout out to our partner in the VA program that you'll hear from in just a few minutes. Yes, today, and the mayor just used the term, excited. We're excited, and Lexington should be equally excited. In 2008, just 6 years ago, we had no vouchers designated for veterans. Today, with the added 51 vouchers, we can serve 246 veterans. We work in partnership with the VA hospital, and they do the VA administration. They do the counseling, and we provide the housing. A program that clearly works in terms of partnership. We believe it is a collaborative effort in partnering with local government, the VA, and other like partners that allow us to continue our quest to end homelessness. Absolutely, we believe, worth a shout out. Thank you.
No one who has served our country should should ever go without a safe, stable place to call home. In 2009, President Obama and former Secretary Shinseki committed to the ending of homelessness among veterans. In response, VA developed a number of innovations and transformation based on the principle that the solution to homelessness is permanent housing with wraparound supportive services. We have become more community-based and veteran-centric, with a focus on meeting veterans where they are and helping them to move forward to improve their health and housing stability. We now have an array of programs and connect homelessness and at-risk veterans with various levels of needs for housing and support necessary to end and to prevent homelessness as quickly as possible. Since VA first committed to ending homelessness, the number of homeless veterans that have used VA programs to obtain permanent housing has increased 86%, from over 18,440 in 2009 to nearly 36,000 in 2012. The primary reason for this increase has been the increased investment programs for HUD VA, supporting housing, and HUD VASH. The HUD VASH program is a joint effort between the Department of Housing and Urban Development and VA supportive housing to help veterans and their families out of homelessness and into permanent housing. HUD provides housing assistance through their Housing Choice Voucher program that allows homeless veterans to rent privately owned housing. We launched our HUD VASH program in early 2008. Beginning with 35 housing vouchers. Since then, we have provided HUD voucher services to veterans from Fayette County to the outlying areas of Pulaski County. Since we've expanded to 195 vouchers and collaborate with other organizations, including the Lexington Housing Authority, to move veterans directly into permanent housing and provide the wraparound services and case management to help our veterans to maintain housing, to make connections to employment and income supports, and improve health and overall quality of life. And here's how we've done that with our community partners. We actively work with the local shelters and food pantries, visiting them almost daily to identify and reach homeless veterans. We attend the Central Kentucky Housing and Homeless Coalition. This is the group of agencies in Fayette County that serve people experiencing homelessness. We participate in the point in time count every other year through HUD. There is one night across the nation, each state goes out and counts people that are homeless, under-sheltered and sheltered. HUD uses this to determine the population of homeless people across the nation. We coordinate the annual Stand Down for Homelessness, which will be held October the 16th this year at Central Christian Church here in Lexington. I know many of you support this outreach effort. We also offer homeless veteran health care and a variety of supportive services, such as obtaining employment and case management through numerous programs that are interrelated with HUD VASH. And while we have put this energy and resources into ending homelessness, we cannot do this alone. We need to work together. Organizations and individuals and communities across the county and across the country, and key to providing services to veterans and spreading the word about the resources VA provides to end and prevent homelessness among veterans. No veteran should be homeless. To reach the goal of eliminating homelessness now and for future generations, we need everyone to accept the President's challenge as a personal call to action. With this continued support and focus, we can and will achieve this important goal. Thank you.
When I was originally approached by the White House and by the regional office in Atlanta concerning the White House initiative on ending veterans' homelessness, As a veteran, I was very interested in that. I served 20 years in submarines, so I know a little bit about how my brothers need perhaps a hand up every once in a while. So it's near to my heart, and I was happy to take the commission. And the first city that I thought of when I was looking at making a recommendation for this and facilitating this request was the city of Lexington, and especially given Mayor Gray's, the city council, and the community's effort to really reach out and innovate within their community to do things that we normally don't see done at the local level, to assign local monies to facilitate movement forward as a macro effort for homeless issues. I would cite specifically the $500,000 that come off of the budget surplus that the mayor was a leader on in bringing to this resolution, to the facility that was created throughout the community to address homelessness as a macro issue, and also to serve veterans, and then more importantly, all of the staff changes that he made. Charlie is a great partner with us, and he brings on a lot of expertise that we will harness and move forward with our efforts dealing with veterans homelessness, but also homelessness across the community of Lexington, Fayette Urban County government. We are here to facilitate, and I do appreciate the kind words by the mayor concerning the entrepreneurial attack that I do. I come from the private sector after the military. I ran 2 large companies, and I look at things perhaps a little different than most federal servants, public servants do. I want to make things happen. I know that when we deal with homelessness as an issue, we have to deal with job creation, we have to deal with community development, and we have to take a look at it as a holistic approach. And I think as a first effort, as a focused effort to focus on veterans who've served our military and served our country in many ways, have had great loss personally, I think it's very commendable to move this forward. And I am very proud to be part of it. And I'm very proud that I could make this recommendation for Lexington. I was very pleased that the mayor picked up the challenge, and it was my expectation from the very beginning he would. He's a good man, you have a great mayor, and it's great to be part of this process. And the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development commits to moving this forward as expeditiously, as effectively, and as far as we can to resolve this issue. We do have this goal. We would like to move it ahead fast. We would like to make further strides. Many people have talked about 2015. I think most of us that are pragmatic knows that this is a long-term process. We will take the gains where we can find them, and we certainly appreciate the partnership and collaboration of our other federal agencies, the VA especially. We appreciate the USDA for what they do in our communities along this line and community development. But more importantly, we thank Mayor Gray for his engagement. We thank Mr. Sims at the Housing Authority for all they do and all they will do. And we certainly look forward to resolving this issue and minimizing veterans' homelessness to the greatest extent and possibly extinguishing it. We certainly appreciate the cooperation of the community and the understanding of the vitality of this particular project and request by the U.S. government, and we will do everything we can to support.
To find out more about this initiative, you can log on to the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. For the past 9 months, the police department has been cracking down on drug dealers and drug activity in the east end of Lexington. Chief Ronnie Baston recently held a press conference to announce the results of Operation Transformation.
Well, first of all, thank you all for being here today. We're here today to share information about recent efforts to improve quality of life and reduce violence in Lexington's East End. Our efforts began last fall as a proactive strategy to reduce illegal activities and improve the quality of life for residents in the East End. The narcotics trade is all too often closely tied to acts of violence. We have seen this influence in many recent acts of violence in this community. In fact, one suspect in this narcotics investigation became a homicide victim before he could be arrested. The magnitude of these efforts have made a significant impact on street-level narcotics trafficking and will now allow us to work with community members and other partners to improve the quality of life in this area. The future will require commitment, collaboration, and partnerships to improve quality of life and reduce the violence that's in this neighborhood. What I'm going to do now is ask Lieutenant Blakely, who heads up our narcotics enforcement area, and ask him to come forward and give some details about our most recent activities.
In October 2013, the Lexington Division of Police began an undercover investigation into drug trafficking at 2 specific locations. Officers from the Intelligence Unit, the Narcotics Enforcement Unit, Patrol, Clear, and others from the Bureau of Investigation, along with our partners from the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, worked tirelessly to rid this neighborhood of illegal narcotics trafficking. This investigation became known as Operation Transformation, an all-out effort to change the neighborhood. The investigation began in the area bounded by East 5th Street, East 4th Street, Ohio Street, and Hawkins Avenue. We began the investigation as a direct result of receiving complaints from the neighborhood. We also looked at the crime stats as well as violent crime in the area. Surveillance indicated that there was open-air drug sales being conducted near the intersections of 5th and Hawkins and 5th and Chestnut. In Phase 1 of the operation, we concentrated on purchasers of drugs, which resulted in 25 arrests and 6 citations. In Phase 2 of the operation, we concentrated on mid to low-level drug dealers, which resulted in 18 arrests and 12 citations. And in Phase 3 of the operation, we were able to secure sealed indictments on 17 subjects that were acting as mid to upper-level dealers and were directly responsible for the distribution of crack cocaine in the area. Last Thursday and Friday, we conducted a roundup of these suspects, and we have arrested 11 of the 17. We are currently still trying to locate the remaining 6 suspects. Much of the illegal activity occurred in front of and inside the M&M Market located at the intersection of 5th and Chestnut. We also placed charges on the 2 proprietors of that store for welfare fraud. They allowed purchases of cigarettes, beer, and other non-food items on state-issued EBT cards. During the warrant execution of that establishment, we also noticed that a good percentage of the food at this location was substandard and out of date, including its stock of baby food. In total, 55 persons were arrested, and another 18 received criminal citations. The predominant drug involved in this operation was crack cocaine. The residents of our communities deserve access to good quality, wholesome foods and a stable neighborhood free from illicit narcotic sales. We have met with several of our partners and are now working on activities and programs aimed at enhancing the neighborhood and empowering the residents. This is one of many initiatives that we have undertaken to help our neighborhoods, and it could not have been possible without the support of our community. We have one of the most active narcotics task forces in the state. Over the last 3 years, the Lexington Police Narcotics Task Force has seized illegal narcotics with a street value of just over $57 million, and assets valued at $8.75 million, have made 1,390 arrests and seized 292 firearms. Most of that activity is generated by information provided by our citizens. If you think something suspicious, call the police. We don't reveal your name, and all tips that come in are assigned for investigation. We can't announce that without addressing other issues of the problem. So there's a message we want to send today. If you're an addict, we encourage you to take advantage of some of the programs in the community that we have all worked hard on. We know kicking the habit is difficult, but if you're willing to take the first step and ask for help, you'll find someone willing to help. If you're a family member of an addict, we ask that you stand by them, support them, and see to it that they seek treatment. A support system is necessary for them to be successful. And finally, if you're dealing drugs on our streets, know that we're not finished. It may not be today, tomorrow, or next week, but rest assured, we are coming. It could be the 10 months that we dedicated to this project, or even less. In fact, we've already started our next operation. I'm just not going to tell you where we're at.
I've often said over the last few weeks that I have confidence in our police and our full law enforcement community. Today's announcement illustrates that confidence. Our police anticipate problems and work to get ahead of them. And often, they can't talk about what they're doing until the end of an operation. That's why it can sometimes be frustrating for our citizens, especially those whose neighborhoods may have been the scene of violence. But it's clear from today's announcement that we are dedicating all available resources to fight violence. Our police and law enforcement personnel from across our community, and I want to thank, too, Sheriff Witt for being here today. They are all working around the clock to get the criminals off the streets. The message today is clear. Police are well-trained, well-equipped, and well-staffed. They are getting criminals and illegal drugs off the streets. Over the past few weeks, we have all heard Chief Baston say, unless you are involved in an illegal transaction or activity, unless you are engaged in a high-risk lifestyle, you have little chance of being the victim of a random act of violence. It's regrettable that illegal drugs are largely fueling the violence on our streets. This announcement shows our police are focused on the roots of these problems and that we are all working vigorously to address them.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chief. I stand here in support and in commending the efforts of our police department recently in the activity in the East End. I've communicated here recently with and hope to have further conversations with Chief Basson, Commissioner Mason, and Mayor Gray on how we could go forward with this activity. What today's information shares with us is that we're not starting from a blank slate, but we still have a ways to go. One thing that I want to communicate to the media and to the residents of Lexington is not to stigmatize the entire East End. The East End is a compact urban neighborhood made up of thousands of residents, and today's information focuses on those who unfortunately have chosen to partake in illegal activity that's drawing down the quality of life for the East End. There are many residents there who've lived there for decades on end, who I would hope would welcome these activities and other opportunities to work with our administration and the police department to restore calm and a greater quality of life in the East End. And I look forward to working with council and mayor and the police department in that effort.
For more information on Operation Transformation and other events going on at the police department, you can log onto their website. It's on the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. And coming up after the break, the Living Arts and Science Center has got some exciting things going on.
Currently, we have an entry collision, Nicholasville Road at Manowar Boulevard. This is Crosstown Traffic on Government Television Channel 3, a service of your Lexington Fayette Urban County government. Currently, we have a stalled vehicle at Waller Avenue at Harrisburg Road.
Welcome back to the show. The Living Arts and Science Center is a mainstay in the Lexington community, and something exciting is happening there. $5 million worth of excitement thanks to a capital campaign that will double the size of the center.
I'm Heather Lyons, and I'm the Executive Director of the Living Arts and Science Center.
The Living Arts and Science Center was created as a not-for-profit organization in 1968 to provide creative and unique opportunities for exploration and education in the arts and sciences. Since that time, the Living Arts and Science Center has not only moved with the times, but has become a trusted creative source and a stimulating force that makes Central Kentucky a better place.
Green, right?
What?
It's gonna be green.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna like color over the green.
The Living Arts and Science Center is a full-blown educational facility in the arts and sciences. We do all kinds of participatory programs for children and adults, including classes, workshops, field trip programs with schools coming in to our facility. We have outreach programs that go into schools and into public libraries in the arts and sciences. We have a mobile planetarium. And then we do a lot of community events here, like our annual Day of the Dead Festival and our Family Fun Day. We do professional development for teachers. We do after-school programs in many schools with our Science Explorers program. We work a lot with schools that have high percentages of at-risk students. So we're trying to help the schools and increase what they're able to offer during the regular school day. So it's a pretty wide range of programs here at our facility and then out in the community.
So somebody tell me what a centriole does. Okay. Does anybody know? You know? Wait, all the stuff that the centriole. If they're trying to replicate itself and it loses some of the DNA, it will replicate it so it. Yes, exactly.
Well, the groundbreaking was a really exciting day for us. That was our ceremonial groundbreaking to announce that construction is imminent for our expansion and renovation project.
On the count of 3, we hit west and all photographers. 1, 2, 3.
So we have been working really for the past 4 years on a $5 million capital campaign, and that is to add on to our building. We've been bursting at the seams here for many years, and the new building will allow us or will provide for us more classrooms, a real fixed planetarium here, Lexington's only planetarium, a teaching kitchen, a digital media studio, a wonderful, innovative glass wall that we'll be able to project on, and that will be a neat addition to the neighborhood as well as within the building. And just a wide range of new programs, and then more room for our existing programs to grow. We have a discovery exhibit here in our current facility that brings in about 8,000 children a year in field trip programs, and that is a very, very small room. So that is going to nearly quadruple in space in the new building. So we're going to be able to serve many more parents, children's families, schools through all of those programs.
The Living Arts and Science Center is located in the beautiful Kincaid House, a 7,000 square foot brick home built by George B. Kincaid in 1847. The Kincaid House is one of the few antebellum mansions remaining within the northeast quadrant of the original boundaries of Lexington. Kincaid is notable in Kentucky's history in several ways. Kincaid became a distinguished Kentucky lawyer and was appointed Secretary of State in 1846 by Governor Owsley. He was an abolitionist, and in 1850, Kincaid became an attorney for Abraham Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd.
We're currently located in the Kincaid House, which was built in 1847, and it has a really interesting history. It was built by George Kincaid, who was Abraham Lincoln's attorney and was an abolitionist, and after the Civil War, he actually built a lot of housing for freed slaves who were moving into the urban area. This whole area of what's now the East End became known as Kincaid Town. And he built Campsie Street, the houses that are on this street, but it stayed in the Kincaid family, and in 1971, the Living Arts and Science Center had just been founded a couple of years prior to that and didn't have a location. And the Kincaid family allowed the Living Arts and Science Center to start using this location. And then in 1981, they donated this beautiful home and the 1.5 acres outright to the organization. So the building is on the National Register of Historic Places, and I think it's just a really, really important. We love maintaining this connection to the East End and to downtown Lexington because of that long history that began right here with George Kincaid.
Each year, the Living Arts and Science Center presents an extensive and diverse array of programming.
One of the things that we do, we have such a busy summer program of classes, and those will be continuing on into August. But once school starts, we also offer classes here on no school days. When Fayette County's out of school, we have classes here from 8 until 5:30, and students can come for any or part of that day. And again, they're participatory classes in the arts and sciences. All of our teachers are professional artists and educators, and so it's an amazing time to get some in-depth learning in a lot of different subject areas. So we encourage people to come and take advantage of that.
Fun mixing your colors, but just know we don't have like you know, I'd hate for you to mix all your colors to make pretty colors and then not be able to paint them.
Well, we certainly invite people to stop by here anytime. We're open about 60 hours a week, so we're open a lot and love people coming to the grounds here and to the building. But we have a website. It's www.lasclex.org. And that has all of our programs ongoing, our classes, our workshops, gallery hop, our art gallery exhibits, everything is on that. And or I invite you to just give us a call, and we're happy to share whatever is going on.
For more information about what's going on with this campaign, you can log on to the Science Center's website. It's www.laclex.com. And this summer, if you've already been to the Science Center, you need to hit the parks. Lexington has more than 100 great parks to visit, and we're telling you more about each and every one that we can fit in. This new series is called Discover Parks, and this week we're telling you about Kenilwood Park.
This week on Discover Parks, we visit Kenilwood Park. Kenilwood Park is located at 612 Brianwood Parkway in Council District 6. You can access Brianwood Parkway directly from Bryan Station Road. Kenilwood Park is a 10.7-acre facility that features 3 baseball fields, a basketball court, playground, and open field space. Kenilwood also features 2 picnic shelters and restrooms. The Lexington Fayette Urban County Government and the Parks and Recreation Department encourage you to visit and discover Kenilwood Park and all of the parks and recreation opportunities in Fayette County. For more information on this and other parks, visit lexingtonky.gov/parks.
And be sure to stay tuned to Lexington Now as we tell you more about our parks in the Discover Park series. But if you don't want to wait for us, you can get on the city's website and discover the parks for yourself. It's lexingtonky.gov. And when you're in your car, whether you're headed to the park or headed to work, you want to know what the road conditions are going to be like. No worries, the Division of Government Communications has got you covered, especially in the morning with our show, Crosstown Traffic. It airs live weekday mornings from 6:30 to 8:30 and gives you the most up-to-date traffic news and even a street view with our live cameras so you can see where the delays are before you even leave the house. Remember, that's Crosstown Traffic only on GTV3. you can get traffic updates 24/7 by following us on Twitter. Our handle is @LexRex. It's going to be a little bit of a slower week here in the Urban County government. Here's a quick look at what's on the schedule, but for a complete listing of meetings and events, you can visit the city's website. You know where it is, lexingtonky.gov. That's all for this week's edition of Lexington Now. We'll return next week with more news from your Urban County government, but in the meantime, you can keep up with what we're doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For the staff and producers at GTV3, I'm Sherelle Roberts, and that's it for now.